It's the beautiful relationships in our life that give us the power to dismantle the anxiety in our life. Like, and so the whole book is really about creating something, putting something beautiful in front of you so that you can conquer the demons inside of you. And it's connected to a verse that describes Jesus in Hebrews. It says, "For the joy set before him, he endured the cross." Jesus set a joy before him, and he saw a beautiful humanity that was worth dying for. He saw
Hmm.
a beautiful humanity that was worth drinking the cup of suffering. Saw a beautiful relationship that humanity could have with his father. He saw broken people being able to be created and transformed by the power of the Holy Spirit. He saw all of those things. He put a joy before him to overcome all the temptations.
Well, hello everyone. Today I get a chance to talk with Pastor Naeem Fazal from Charlotte, North Carolina. Pastor, how long have you lived in Charlotte?
Oh, I've lived here for about 20 years. Yes, yeah. We actually moved, my wife and I moved here to plant a church, start from scratch. Don't know what we were thinking, but yes, we did that. And so I've been here for 20 years, my friend. Yeah.
When you first moved there 20 years ago, what did you think besides the fact that the Charlotte Hornets, Michael Jordan, North Carolina, Carolina Panthers versus how different is Charlotte is now and what you thought it was?
Well, so the reason why we moved to Charlotte was to plant a faith community, to plant a
Mm,
church. And so the church we wanted to plant, the name of the church was called Mosaic, and the heart of it was really to bring a diverse group of people to reclaim the message and the movement of Jesus. So what I did not realize is that it would be such a battle to do that. I came from Charleston, South Carolina,
yeah.
and if you know anything about South Carolina versus North Carolina, you would think that it would be a little bit more open to the concept, the heart of what we wanted to create as a church, and we really wanted diversity to be, the reason why we existed. It's in the name Mosaic, and it was broken people, different people coming together to make something beautiful. And I thought that Charlotte was one of those places where, it's metropolitan. It's got,
Yeah.
besides all the things you mentioned, it's got big banking, brings in a lot of internationals. And so I just thought, hey, it would be a lot easier in a sense to start a diverse community of faith in a city like Charlotte. But man, I was surprised by the
Yeah.
resistance of it. So.
What was the turning point when things started going well? When you said, "Oh my gosh, I really begin to understand the city. We're connecting with the city." Was it
Mhm.
year 5, year 4? What was the turning point?
Well, Tommy, our church planting story is very odd because so we planted in a movie theater in a mall, and it was right at the edge of the city. So
Mm.
right before the suburbs started. So it was, and this mall had not been opened up. The movie theater was not even. It was the
Okay.
first week it opened. We moved in there. Like it was, we had a contract or a handshake before the movie theater actually opened up. And so we launched in the movie theater. But I when I came from Charleston to here to Charlotte, I had about 20 young adults move with us. And so we, for 6 months, 2005, in the fall of 2005, we gathered more and more people as a launch team to launch this thing, this movement, this church, this vision. And so then when we launched in the January of 2006, our first Sunday was pretty big.
Mhm.
Uh, it was close to 500 people actually, and
Mm.
so it just went bananas. And then we exponentially grew more faster than I could actually keep up with it. And honestly, I just didn't have the leadership abilities to sustain something like that, nor a system in place or financial um, system in place to do that. So we went to two campuses in
Yeah.
about 8 months, and
Wow.
then we just started doing. We were, at year two we were doing 5 services. It was a little crazy, but what was happening, Tommy, is that the the it was a lot of transfer growth. In the U.S., a lot of exponential church stories are really honestly transfer growth where people leave in one congregation and just come to ours. It's not like there's mass conversions going on. Muslims and Hindus are coming to faith. It's not that. It's really, and I understood that, but there's a lot of people to take care of, and it takes money and all that, and takes leadership and all that, and I just wasn't ready for it. And we ran out of space, and we had to move to a school, and so we had to uh, uh, really make some tough decisions.
Hmm.
Lost a lot of people. I would say we, in one sense, maybe internally imploded year
Hmm.
three. And so when you ask that question, when did you know? Like we were hitting it. I'm like, well, first, the big wave was the first couple of years. It was like
Yeah,
we
yeah,
were
yeah, yeah.
just cruising. We're like, this is it. And I was speaking at all the conferences, and I'm like, this is exponential growth and all the lists and all that. And then reality set in. So I
Mm.
think as entrepreneurs and as business leaders or anything that you start a movement, there is this. There's actually a great book called, I think it was called Whitewater, Whitewater uh, strategy. But anyways, it's this idea of like sometimes when you start something new, there is fresh water. There's a
Yeah.
fresh sail. There's Everything is fresh. So there's a good chance that you're going to ride something, which is not really true. It's not really true. You think it's true, and everybody else thinks it's true. And it's worth celebrating. But then, yeah, year five, we were like, okay, what are we really about? What are we
Hmm.
really about? So I would say the answer to that question would be is it's not till I really lost and had some really painful conversations with people I'd already hired that I had to let go. It wasn't until it wasn't success that taught me and shaped who we were. It was failure. It was like, oh, hold up. What did we do wrong? What are we doing here? What's happening? Are we really a mosaic? What do we want here? Because sometimes growth overtakes culture so easily, especially for businesses. Like when your business hits, the culture is let's just keep going and let's get excited, and the wind is behind our sails. And so I don't think culture gets really formed until you stop and go, okay, ask the hard questions like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say year five is when I was like, you know what? Because we had an opportunity to grow, to move somewhere and buy a space, and I remember sitting there going, this makes so strategic financial sense to move into this place. But I also knew, sitting with my team, I was like, if we move to this place, the kind of church we're trying to create and the kind of people we want to reach, we will not reach.
Mm. Hmm.
We just
Hmm.
won't reach.
Yeah.
And so we decided to wait longer and to move to a place that we're at right now, which again is the intersection of where of our city, where people from 20 minutes, people all over the city can come to us and reach us.
Wonderful.
And so it
Wonderful.
was true to who we were, and not what we just said who we were or the name of our
Yeah.
church. It was really
Yeah.
like, hey, this we want to embody this.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so
Oh, Pastor, I mean, I love what you said in terms of even with Resource Global. When we first started, everyone was excited. Everyone
mm,
jumped on board. Things were going well. Then you hit the growing pains. Then
yeah,
you're saying, okay, nothing's going well. And then from that point on, hey, as we continue to grow, who are the guys that got us there, but are they the
yeah,
right fit? And then you have
right,
to have some hard conversations. Some people thought they were going to be part of this entire long journey, but then you
hmm,
realize you're going to do. Then you got to look at your own leadership insecurities. Says, oh, I
yeah.
got to have these tough conversations. Well, Tommy Lee's a people pleaser. I don't want these tough conversations. I thought we were all going to be getting along great.
Yeah.
And now when you let
Yes.
people go, they say to you, well, I thought we were going to be a ministry. I thought you were going to minister to me. Now you're letting me go. And then
Yeah.
not trying to figure
Yeah.
out what's best
Ugh.
for the
It's
organization.
so, yeah. I mean, I don't think they prepare you for that. I did not really realize how much I just focused on what we were going to do, the good that we were going to do. Well,
Yeah.
I just focused on the fact that we were going to change the people's lives. I didn't realize how many people make, I would hurt by starting this
Mm-hmm.
church.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
seems like even as we transition your book, Tomorrow Needs You, seeing beauty when you feel hopeless. I got the sense as I was looking through some of the material of the book, it really has
Mhm.
your personal touch, your personal story experience embedded into the book.
Yes.
Is that your intention?
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, it took me, it didn't take me 10 years to write this book, but I had to wait 10 years in writing this book. My first book was Ex-Muslim, which was really my
Yeah.
story of coming to faith as a immigrant, because I'm Pakistani.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I was born and raised in Kuwait. So
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
first language is Urdu, but I grew up in an Arab culture. So that's my childhood. So I grew up in an Arab society, Muslim society, Sunni Muslim society. And then my parents had a great idea to put me in an Indian school. Indian school, yes, yes. And the curriculum was in English. So I had to learn Urdu, Arabic, Hindi, and English growing
Wow.
up.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And what does not help though is that I did not realize this, but till later, because, back in the day, they just didn't test for these things as much as they do now. But I have dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia, which means I mix words, letters, and even my brain. Like when I'm writing something, my I think I'm writing something down, but I'm not really writing that word down. If that makes any sense.
Wow. But then the languages, with all those languages, they come naturally to you, or did you just realize why is this so hard growing up?
Yeah, so we know what's interesting about dyslexia, and if you've ever done some research on it, dyslexic people, based on the kind of dyslexia, an intense amount of dyslexia, their brain functions a very different way. So I have like this short-term photographic memory. So
Oh.
when I preach, I don't use notes. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't need because my brain's like, if you have to read a text or a manuscript while you're preaching or you're speaking or you're communicating, you're going to slow down and you're not going to actually read the words you actually wrote.
Yes. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So my brain just takes a picture of it and then I just start talking. So there are
Mm.
certain parts of there's certain things that I'm just able to do faster than other people. Language is one of those as well. So I can start talking so like for example, my accent. People go, man, you lost your accent. People like my family members or people who knew me when I was younger. And it's not that. It's just that when I speak a different language, I I don't just use the words. I have an accent. I have
Yeah.
the accent
Yeah. Yeah.
to go along with it. So when I talk to Arabic people, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you speak Arabic like you are Arab." And I'm like, "No, no, I've lost a lot of words, but the way I say them, it comes across like I am fully Arab, or
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
fully Indian, or I'm fully, Pakistani, or I was born and raised, in California."
Wow. Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it. Oh my gosh. And so even with this book, what made you decide to write this book and even some of the topics that we talked about are going to talk about?
Yeah. Yeah. So Tomorrow Needs You came out of really a sad story because like I said, it took me 10 years to write this because I didn't know what I was going to write as my second book. And you know, about 2016, my dad, he tried to take his life. And
Mm.
and that experience led to us having just a lot of conversations because we all came as immigrants here, and I had to go through citizenship and a green card process and refugee status. I got asylum from the government, and
Yeah.
all that to say, I have two brothers, two sisters, and mom and dad, and we all had our sort of our own journey trying to get
Yeah.
established here in the U.S. My dad had to leave his business in Kuwait, and if you remember, Tommy, there was a Gulf War in
Yes.
1992.
Very
Yeah,
familiar. Yeah. Yep.
yeah. Yeah, so we were there throughout the Gulf War and survived the
Wow.
Gulf War. Yeah, we
Okay.
were there. Yeah, we were there for the whole experience
With
and
all the
left after.
Scud missiles flying over you
Oh
guys.
yeah, all of it, all of it,
Wow. Okay.
all of it, and we survived. And we the in night two, after the Kuwait was a little bit settled, I got to leave and come here, and so that's when our journey started. All that to say, when my dad got here, his business didn't really take off because, I don't know if you can relate. I'm sure you can, but,
Hmm.
first generation immigrant, he doesn't speak the language properly. All his skills doesn't transfer over. He goes from owning businesses to
Yeah.
working at a gas station, you know. It's just tough. It's just tough. And anyway, so he gets severely depressed. And when that happened, when he tried to take his life. I mean, I remember having a conversation with him, and he said, no one needs me. I'm useless. Um, and then he said something to the effect of tomorrow, no one needs me. And I was like, Dad, no, no, we need you tomorrow. Like and he was like, there's nothing good for me. And so the heart behind tomorrow needs you is
Mm.
coming against this lie that so many people hear and sometimes think, but they hear a lot. And that is, hey, no one needs you. You're not enough, or you're not important, and what you do doesn't is not really contributing anything. So might as well just end it. Might as well just stop doing anything meaningful in life because no one needs you.
Yeah.
And that is a lie that so many people believe. And so this book is really trying to come against that. And my dad, I remember when we were having the conversation, I said, hey, Dad, look around. Can you look around and see the beautiful things in your life? Like see your grandchildren, see all that. And he was like, I don't want to be here. I want to go back to Pakistan. I don't, and he could not see what I saw. And so the book really is about seeing beauty, because I believe that it's the beautiful things in our life that give us the power to overcome the most fearful things in our life. It's the beautiful relationships in our life that give us the power to dismantle the anxiety in our life. And so the whole book is really about creating something, putting something beautiful in front of you so
Mhm.
that you can conquer the demons inside of you. And it's connected to a verse that describes Jesus in Hebrews. It says, "For the joy set before him, he endured the cross." Jesus set a joy before him, and he saw a beautiful humanity that was worth dying for. He saw
Hmm.
a beautiful humanity that was worth drinking the cup of suffering. Saw a beautiful relationship that humanity could have with his Father. He saw broken people being able to be created and transformed by the power of the Holy Spirit. He saw all of those things. He put a joy before him to overcome all the temptations. And and I know, if you read the scriptures, we know Jesus was tempted just like us. So how did he not succumb to
Yeah.
insecurity, pride, guilt, fear, greed, um, you know, um, pleasure? He put something before him. And so this
Hmm.
whole book is about, hey, sometimes you go, hey, we just got to find it in ourselves. And I think, man, I don't know, man. Sometimes on a dark day, I don't have anything. I feel like there's nothing good inside of me. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I can't find it within myself to do the right thing. But I will say this: if there's something worth, if there's a beautiful thing that is at risk, if there's a beautiful thing that's a danger, if there is someone or someone I love that's in a fire, I will run into that burning house because I see something that's beautiful before me that I'm willing to sacrifice for.
Yeah, 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 yeah. What you said reminds me of Joshua chapter 3, where they're about to pack up and go into the promised land. And they say, hey, look, you've got to follow the Ark of the Covenant into the
Hmm.
promised land because you've never been there before. And Jesus continues to be the example who goes into that promised land and for to really be able to continue to give us hope and motivation to do the same thing. Let me ask
Mm.
you a quick question for you is if you don't mind me asking, what happened to your dad?
So Uh, um, yeah, it's a sad and strange story. So when he did what he did, and if you have any experience with that, what happens is that when they take you to the hospital, they actually put you in a secure room. There's a security guard there because they don't want family members to come in, because if someone tries to take their life, they're isolated, they're quarantined in hospitals. So we could not see him. He took a knife to himself, so he was not successful. That was the good thing, but it put him in the hospital. And and then he also had a heart condition while he was in the hospital the next day or so. They were not sure about his heart, and so they moved him to an heart ICU unit. Well, interestingly enough, that unit was not. It moved him out of the secure, guarded system to a ICU space in which family members could visit. And so my mom, so myself, my brother, and my sister, We realized he was in the ICU unit, and we go to go see him. And that was the first time after what he had done. We had talked to him, and he was there, and he was like, you know what? He was so down and so and he was hating himself, and he was like, you know what, he said, I can't even kill myself, right? I can't do anything right. And then I'm like, Dad, and this is all in Urdu, this is not in
Yeah,
English.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he said, no one's gonna forgive me. I mean, my mom was very angry, so my mom, like he said, your mom doesn't forgive me. Allah, which is the word for God in Islam, Allah is not gonna forgive me. And then for some reason I said, you know what? Jesus will forgive you. And he said, what? Now, I've talked to him about Jesus for the last 20 years, and he's never been interested. And he said, will he? And I said, yeah, he will. I said, what you can do is you can just talk to him right now. So let's just talk to him right now. So then and I led him to a prayer to invite Jesus and ask for forgiveness and be filled with God's Spirit. And so that moment happened. And I
Wow.
was like, we were in shock. I was like, I can't believe this actually happened. My brother, my sister was there, and we just prayed around him. And so that was a really great thing. But unfortunately, his health deteriorated. And then in 6 months, he passed away. So,
Wow, 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 wow.
yeah.
For you, as you even some of the topics here in this book that you cover, embrace gratitude, forgiveness, surrounding yourself, all of those things, with everything that happened to your dad coming in from what you experienced in Kuwait, was this easy for you with these topics? Do they come easily for you to practice, embrace gratitude and all that stuff? Or are these things that you had to
Mm.
wrestle growing up? And this book is a story of how you had to wrestle through some of these things, just as Jesus had to wrestle through these things.
Yeah, yeah. So this book is really, uh, yes, it's a lot of my story, a lot of my culture. So there's multiple languages in the book, so there's gonna be a lot of heavy Eastern culture in this book,
Yep.
and so it will expand people's horizon in terms of not reading a Western
Yeah.
book,
Yeah.
understanding like, hey, there's different interpretations. There's different practices when it comes to following Jesus, especially in my context. But what I also wanted to put in there is the stories of other people. So every chapter, Tommy, is a story of people, of a person either gone through, and it's a tough book because I mean I actually write in there that, hey, this is parts of it are not are PG-13, or they talk about some hard stuff. They talk about attempted suicide. They talk about sexual abuse. I mean, so there are real life stories of people who have done these things, are moving out of these things, who've seen hope, who practice gratitude, who've allowed themselves to be shaped by the Holy Spirit, to put in the work. And so this book is not just things I've learned in concepts. It's really about stories. So you're gonna hear a lot of stories. Every chapter is a story of someone else, and that I highlight, and they're friends of mine, people that I know. That some of them I had the privilege of walking through with their journey, and they're tough. It's messy. It's messy, and so the book really is sectioned into parts, and that's so important to understand. So the first part is this idea that yesterday has forgotten us. So the book is this concept is yesterday's forgotten us, which means there are things in the past, good or bad, that we want to go back to depending on the present, right? If the present stinks, we want to go to the past. Or sometimes the past just wants to bring us in and remind us of the failures, remind us of the past, remind us of the betrayal, remind us of even the glory days. So good and bad, regardless of that, yesterday is this relationship, is this person that when you guys stop dating, they deleted your number. Like, they don't have your number. Yesterday does not have your number, but you keep wanting to go back to yesterday. You keep wanting to go back to yesterday. And so that I talk about, hey, how do you overcome that? Then it's the next section is about, hey, and then what you got to go is today. Today is waiting. So today is waiting for you. So yesterday's forgotten you. Today is waiting. So there's some work that you got to be doing, which you alluded to the concepts there. You got to do the work, because some of us are just not doing anything, and then tomorrow needs you. So yesterday's forgotten you. Today is waiting because tomorrow needs you. And if it's not just your tomorrow, it's your kids' tomorrow. It's showing up for your loved ones, your friends, your business, So anyways.
And in some sense, hearing what you're saying as well, too, and this is the same thing with all of our different young leaders across the board. If there's one thing I hear from strong believers who are from our different global cities, they'll tell me, Tommy, I just want to go ahead. I just want to go ahead. I love the Lord. I just want to continue to serve the Lord. But the one thing, and I love what you said, is you have to move away from yesterday, but you can't forget yesterday.
Yes,
All the
correct.
good and bad, everything that happened to you with your dad and everything coming to the U.S. created you and made you to the person, the character establishing you, all of those things, the perseverance. For me, a lot of times I cannot ignore the past. My insecurities, all of those things, my struggle with anger, we're rooted in those things. So embrace that, understand what happened, but then what do you do to move around that? And then how do you change it? Because you're going to have a wife, husband,
Right.
family,
Right.
all of that. And
Right.
what is inside of you, if you don't deal with it, will eventually come out.
Yes. Yeah, I think if to clearly communicate it, I believe that your past should not inspire you. Your past should give you a strategy for the future.
Correct. I love it.
Because if the past always inspires you, you want to go back to what it was. You want to go back to what it was. So at the level of success in a business or whatever, it's when the entrepreneurs go, we had this market, let's get it again. Okay, yeah, but you might not. You might need to pivot and go a different direction. And so let's use the past as a wise counselor. Let's use the past as wisdom, but and knowledge, but not as inspiration.
Yeah. Hey,
Not
seriously,
motivation.
as we were talking about, you really do need to create a podcast on Tomorrow Needs You of more stories of different people in their journey. I think it would be wonderful.
Yes, we will. We will. I mean, I'm launching with the book that's coming out. I'm launching 5 or 6 episodes that are just for the season. Actually, the one that recently dropped was with a friend of mine, John Gordon. John is a best-selling author on motivation. And teamwork and leadership. And so we talk a lot about this. Why it's so important for us to have tools to motivate and to get rid of negativity in our life, or to resist the temptation to go into dark places and just live there. Because the world and life will give us so many reasons to do that, but we can't allow that, and we can't allow it. We can't allow it, and it's really, we talked in particular about it's a beautiful vision. A beautiful vision gives us the motivation, gives us the tools to really dismantle some of the insecurities that we face day to day. It's like I get up in the morning, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. It's so hard, you know. But when you have a beautiful vision in front of you, man, it can really dismantle some laziness, some mediocrity. It can really give you a boost that you need. So I'm hoping that this book, you know, allows people to just get unstuck,
Yeah.
because God has so much more. And you know, God, I, I say it this way: God is able if you're willing. You know, but God's not. God's always willing, and He doesn't care if you're able. But you got to be willing. You
Yeah.
got to be willing
Yeah.
because God is able to do it. So, anyways, yeah.
One last thing as we wrap up, and then I'll ask you for your information. What do you say to the person who sits there and says, Pastor, I totally understand what you're saying. And there is a tomorrow that needs you, but my life is so hard, and I pray to the Lord. I hear nothing. It's so silent. He's not around. He tells me he's going to answer my prayer. He doesn't do it. And every day I struggle. What encouragement would you give to that particular?
Man, I would give them perspective. You know, when if assuming this person is a uh, Christian and knows about the Bible stories, so then they know Moses. Moses didn't step into his purpose till he was 80 years old.
Hmm.
80 years old. The conversation he had with Pharaoh was when he was 80 years old. So I just want people to know, like, okay, are you 80 years old? Okay. Because even if you're 80 years old, um, there's still time. You know, I think we put ourselves on a time clock. And so that's like, hey, I've been waiting. I'm waiting. So discouraged. I'm waiting. I'm waiting and waiting. And I would tell that person, you are not running out of time.
Yeah.
You are not running out of time. You've got God who created, who's outside of time, who created time on your side. And so, but I will say is that it's this. It's like I've been waiting. I'm so discouraged. I'm so discouraged. Yes, because you're looking at your life through linear time. So it's like this idea of, um, you know, chronos time. You're like, well, this day is not good, and this month, and it's been so many, and you're judging your life and your accomplishments and your peace based on on chronological time. And I get that; it makes sense because we live in time. But when you and I have a different perspective and we go, okay, God's not wanting me to live in time. He wants me to live in moments. It's
Mm.
chronos moments. It's divine moments. So this morning, today, there are some divine moments that God's setting up because he says he has prepared good works for us to step into already. So there is a day today there's a moment, divine moment, that God wants you to step into. Are you going to do that?
Mm. Mhm.
So you know what I'm saying? We miss the moment because we're worried about time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do that. I get that. I remind myself and give myself perspective of like, hey, because I didn't want to wait 10 years to write my second book. I mean, who wants to do that?
Yeah.
But now I'm so grateful because I'm just grateful that even kicking and screaming with the bad attitude, I still showed up. It
Yeah.
still showed up, did the things that God had set before me. Um, and because of that, I believe that God's goodness has followed me all the days of my life.
Very good. Wonderful. Where can people find you? Social media, website for your church, all of that, and the name of your
Yes.
podcast?
Yeah. So I have a website, nameemfazal.com or .org. I can know, I can never remember. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. Apparently I'm on LinkedIn too. I don't know. And, maybe even, MySpace. I'm not quite sure. I haven't checked MySpace.
Really? Nice. And by the way, you are on .org.
Oh, .org. Okay. Okay.
.org.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Good to know. No, someone was joking about MySpace and they said that it was still going on. So I was like, is it?
Yes. And when was the last time you updated MySpace?
I mean, I don't know, 30 years ago.
Wow. Okay. Tomorrow needs you. Seen beauty when you feel hopeless. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, by the way, it's on Amazon as well. So you can pre-order the book and it's anywhere books are found. So
You
thank
got
you
it.
so much. Yeah.
Talk soon.
Yeah.